Welcome, everybody. So, wow, wow. Yes, we're back. I'm back. I just had a huge hiatus, but I'm willing to give this another go. Just a lot of things that been busy with lot of things. But speaking of who else has been busy, oh man, P40 P47 man, Trump 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 has been at it here, and I wanted to outright say this, that I called this years ago, maybe like earlier last year, as the truthers were going out and saying how the great economic reset's going to happen right now. It's going to happen in 2025. This, that, and the third. Blah 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 blah. I said no, it's not, and you know what? Then many people, and I've been put aware of about this. Many people in this community did not accredit my prediction, not just my prediction, but my insights. They adopted it as their own. I said no, 2025 was going to be a cleanup year, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, that's exactly what was going on, because you cannot just enforce something out of the blue, unbeknownst, with no preparation or preface of anything. So this is what I basically said. 2025 is going to be a cleanup year. He's going to start getting rid of a lot of people. He's going to start disassociating about all this, and also I want to. I'm gonna also mention here what the truther and what a lot of people are freaking saying. This popular narrative it is, but they do not understand something that I do. Do I have all the answers? No, but I'm pretty more keen on what's going on. Okay, because here, because I want because here I want to ask, and no matter how what at what point you've you're watching this live, post live, whenever, leave in the comment section or chat if you're in here live, and say and tell me who I should say, how should I word this? Who does the WHO benefit the most? Who stands to benefit the most? People want to say it's BG. Now, he has a big stake in it. However, the world, whatever its world, who benefits from this the most? No one's talking about this. The royal family. This people do not understand that when I did a video of P40 P40 5 P/P47 doing this image, when he did this image, people took this literally. People took this really literally, and how you say, oh well, he's gonna become the Pope, he's gonna have all this, and I said, dude, what are you talking about? He's trying to put us back on the gold standard. And the Vatican, in spite uh, in spite other areas having quite a bit of a stake in gold and precious metals, the Vatican holds the most. The Vatican is the world's bank. Even though, in spite, a lot of people trust the U.S. and it's about a bunch of U.S. taxes and not just tariffs, but a lot of obligations such as the Paris Accords. You don't understand. Nobody understands that is Europe basically saying, no, you owe us this because you're making this much money. And this is why they're saying, oh, capitalism is evil, all this other stuff. The U.S. is the U.S. is a dictatorship. The U.S. is this. U.S. is blah blah freaking blah. All the rotten eggs, not eggs, rotten names, and anyone can say. Yes, but who is according to who? He's a dictator. He's a this. He's a that. For who? The crown. Do you not understand that and I'm going to get into this. We have even snakes in the US, including Candace Owens, and I will probably do a stream of this. She is a Trojan horse on behalf of the crown. Her husband is royalty. We are at war not with the Middle East. We are at war for our own sovereignty. And people have to understand that that withdrawing from the World Health Organization is a blow to England. Let's watch. I'll turn up my mic too. Okay, let me actually put this up on the screen here for everyone to see. All right, here we go. And why should they? I want to say, why should they? Why should we be obligated? First of all, the World Health Organization, like I said, is a European uh, snake. Europe and England, especially England, wants to still grab stay on the nut. The other way around. They want the United States to hang on the nuts of the crown. And 47 is saying no. No, because Soros, Schwab, Gates, they're all in cahoots with the crown. This is not so the Revolutionary War, we're back in it, baby. We're really back in it. All these taxes that are going to, where's the money going? It's going back to Europe and especially the crown. That's where your money's going to. You heard it here, people. And let me tell you this. I know who you are. Okay? If I hear one meep about what I say, and this is January 23rd, 2026, if I hear anything parroting what I'm saying right now in this stream later on, and you adopt this at your own, I'm coming after you guys. Okay? Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Country status with the organization going forward. Dr. Judd Walson joins me now. He's an infectious disease physician and epidemiologist who works to improve child survival, growth, and development in low and middle income settings. Doctor, thank you for being with us. Would a U.S. withdrawal from the World Health Organization be unprecedented, and what would the effect be for global disease monitoring?
That is none of our. That's not our. Unfortunately, that is none of our concern. That is none of our concern. This CBS, MSNBC, people want to say Zionism, Zionist. It's the Zionist. Shut up. Shut up about that. It's not Zionist. It's not the OJs. It's the crown. Okay? Israel. Israel. Remember Candace Owens saying that shit? Who's her significant other? Yeah. Roy. She's married to a freaking royal.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. No, this is not unprecedented. So after World War II, both the United Nations and the World Health Organization were established, and those harbored in an era of unprecedented peace around the world, and allowed us to, through these multilateral organizations such.
It also made us obligated to be at the best of the crown and give up our sovereignty. That's essentially what that did as well. So,
which is the WHO, really help control the spread of disease and help countries to prioritize and address health concerns all around the world. In 1949, shortly after they were established, the USSR at the time and several other Eastern Bloc countries left and withdrew from the WHO. And at that time, the US actually took a step forward and became a very dominant force within the organization, which remained until last year when we signaled our withdrawal. And as part of those efforts, we were able to be at the table for a lot of very important discussions about prioritizing health around the world.
It also led us prone. However, even though some parts of what he's saying might be true, it also led us prone to being beholden by other entities, foreign entities that we were not willing to that I shouldn't say not willing, but shouldn't be beholden to. It was basically used as a Trojan horse for the crown to get back at the U.S. Sovereignty, and basically say that the U.S. essentially is an extension of England, which it's not. But let's keep it a B, okay? Let's keep it a B. I know that I don't say that, but that's what the cool kids are saying today. It's just like let's keep it real, basically. Let's keep it real. Who stands to benefit from all of this? I will always say this.
those countries, USSR and other countries, reinitiated their involvement with the WHO 7 years after they left. And since that time, there certainly have been many, many other ups and downs with our relationship as the US with WHO, at times where our contributions have gone up and down and there's been disagreements, but this withdrawal for the US is unprecedented. And I think it—
No, it is not. It's unprecedented for who? The withdrawal is unprecedented for the crown, you freaking cuck. You crown D sucker. I'm sorry, but there are lots of these people, even in the truther community, they don't know what they're defending.
It really is something new and concerning for all of us.
All of us, for who though?
Which areas of the WHO would be specifically impacted?
Fantastic question. I think this is great.
All areas of the WHO will be impacted. So part of—
Okay. So then, do you know what that means? If all the areas, well then guess what? Hey, England, Italy, Vatican, or whatever, but predominantly England. It's time to flip the bill, assholes. It's time to flip the bill.
That is because of the financial commitments the United States was.
England, the crown is absolutely behind all of this nonsense that a lot of people are dealing with. This freaking this pseudo socialism, this pseudo communism is all, and all of this stuff being pushed on our youth is funded by GS, who is in deep ties with the crown. This is so. No, this isn't unprecedented. And let me tell you this: pulling out with the out of the WHO is basically the middle finger to England. That's who now. That is who's pissed off right now.
As a major contributor to the World Health Organization, and as the WHO has tried to address this.
Look at where he's talking about right here. Near Kenya. Kenya is at the hanging by the nuts of the crown.
Two important phenomena have happened. One is they've had to downsize considerably, meaning that there are less resources available to support countries around the world with technical assistance. There's less resources for data monitoring for potential threats such as pandemics, emerging disease threats. There's less resources for helping to support supply chains. All of those direct impacts of the financial consequences of our withdrawal are real. And there are many other impacts as well that we will see. As countries no longer have access to support their health systems, we are starting to see them disintegrate.
Well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We're not even in the same continent. We're not even in the same continent. You want all these other things? You know who else is pushing all this communist nonsense? That these people, I swear to God, are not even freaking mentioning is China. China has just as much, if not more, money than the U.S. We don't need you don't need us. Yes, you need us. We don't need you. Because there's no positive investment. The United States is looting jillions and jillions of dollars. You're funding this, and where the hell is it going to? It's going Your World Health Organization money is going to help the quote unquote refugees. How's that working out, England? We're telling them to get GTFO. We want legal immigrants. We don't want these freaking infiltrators. And now you're screwed. You're begging for money. This is what, and you heard it here, Truther community. You heard it here first. I said it first. The reason why this is going on is because these people are aching for money for the illegals. The illegals in Europe, not in the US.
Coupled with some of the
and Trump's essentially saying, you know what, F you.
The other harms that have been incurred because of the collapse of USAID and other foreign aid are having lasting and real impacts right now. I'm currently speaking to you from Kenya, and across Africa, we are seeing those impacts in very real terms right now. There's an estimated over 750,000 excess deaths that will occur this year because of these changes, most of those in children.
Well, Dr. Judd Wilson, we appreciate you joining us on an important topic, particularly at this late hour where you are. Thank you.
Well, this is what I've got to say. These Metro commies who say America wasn't great, America was never great, and all this other stupid oops, hold on, sorry. And all this other stuff, dude, they are licking the nuts and sucking the D of England, of Europe. You want to know what's really hilarious? I'm not going to show this, but there are a lot of people. There was a musician who said that he was a democratic socialist, and he ended up saying countries in Europe. And it's these and he was a Latino. So, and I was like saying, well, why aren't you quoting other socialist countries? Why is it white countries? What what about Mexico? What about all these other places? In Latin America and Central America, the Americas. You have to point to Europe. It's all crap, pro-crown propaganda, peeps. You heard here first. And guess what? I'm going to start sharing this with Trump actually spoke at the World Economic Forum. And do you know what? That is awesome. Because he took us, he basically branched us off from a European, a crown ruled organization, and said, no, we value our sovereignty. We've got our own technology. We have immigrants coming in from those areas, but you cannot associate. But as soon as you're here, you stay here. You're only associated here. You can't be associated from Europe, and rightfully so. And let me tell you this: if anybody's been paying attention, metals have been going up, and they really hit trip digits after this. Let's watch and listen, and we'll talk it through, okay? We may not go through the whole hour and a half through it, but we'll at least go through some. We'll go over what he's trying to say and what he means, because I know there are a bunch of tards, not in this community, but just like there are just a lot of simpletons who do not understand, and you can put them on a contest or don't understand what he's saying, or what he means, and so I'll put it in layman's terms for a lot of people. Now, keep in mind, this is after he withdrew from the World Health Organization.
Well, thank you very much, Larry. It's great to be back in beautiful Davos, Switzerland, and to address so many respected business leaders, so many friends, few enemies, and all of the distinguished guests. It's a who's who, I will say that. I've come to this year's World Economic Forum with truly phenomenal news from America. Yesterday marked the one-year anniversary of my inauguration, and today, after 12 months back in the White House, our economy is booming, growth is exploding, productivity is surging, investment is soaring, incomes are rising, inflation has been defeated, our previously open and dangerous border is closed, and
that's debatable. That's debatable.
Virtually impenetrable, and the United States is in the midst.
I wouldn't say that inflation is gone, but it most definitely is stagnant right now. It hasn't gone up as bad. Prices have lowered a little bit, but the reason why some people might say prices might stay up is because, well, again, Europe wants the Americans' money.
Of the fastest and most dramatic economic turnaround in our country's history. Under the Biden administration, America was plagued by the nightmare of stagflation, meaning low growth, and high inflation, a recipe for misery, failure, and decline. But now, after just 1 year of my policies, we are witnessing the exact opposite. Virtually no inflation and extraordinarily high economic growth. Growth like I believe you'll see very shortly our country has never seen before, perhaps no country has ever seen before. Over the past 3 months.
That's debatable given the fact that the unemployment rate is crazy. Not many people have jobs.
Core inflation has been just 1.6%.
Especially with the onset of AI.
Meanwhile, fourth quarter growth is projected to be.
And no, I'm not calling 47 a liar. That I'm not going to say, oh, he's a lying POS. I'm not going to give you no TDS nonsense on that. But yeah, he kind of has to lie a little bit just to kind of go give the simpletons and the normies just like he has to speak their language. But if you actually start looking at what's going on in the background and big picture, right now he's pitching out the small picture stuff without showing and people are not seeing big picture. Because the big picture is, especially since he's speaking at the World Economic Forum, that should scare people. Again, what do I mean by that? Like, oh, he shouldn't associate himself with the World Economic Forum. It's like, or anything like that. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying, how should it scare people? It shouldn't scare people because what he's because it's him or whatever. They should be scared because he's telling the World Economic Forum what is going on with the U.S. and he's essentially, spoiler alert, gonna essentially call them a bunch of screw ups. I wanted to say a harsher word, but I restrained.
5.4%, far greater than anybody other than myself and a few others had predicted. Since the election, the stock market has set 52 all-time high records. So that's in 1 year, 52 records, adding $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, 401ks, and people's savings. People are doing very well. They're very happy with me. Since
they're doing better. They're doing better. Things are starting to things are struggling, but still better.
The inauguration, we've lifted more than 1.2 million people off of food stamps, and after 4 years in which Biden secured less than $1 trillion of new investment in our country. Think of that, 1 trillion, substantially less than that. In 4 years, we've secured commitments for a record-breaking $18 trillion, and we think when the final numbers come out, they'll be closer to $20 trillion of investment. That's never been done by any country at any time, not even close. Just over 1 year ago, under the radical left Democrats, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world.
You want to know it? And I keep saying, and I will keep saying this, I will say this, so that way you stupid morons who are blaming the Zionists and Israel and this, all that, all of that, this hurts the crown more than anybody. This hurts the crown. This is him flipping the bird to England. And yes, and people want to say, oh, well, both sides this and both sides that. What they're talking about is that they're bought out by the crown. And yes, BG is bought out by the crown. George S. So you know what I'm talking about. He's bought out by the crown. The Schwab is bought out by the crown. All of these world powers are in cahoots are doing what's on the best on the behalf of the crown. And 47 is saying, no, the F you don't.
In fact, the United States economy is on pace to grow at double the...
We are a sovereign nation, okay? We don't need the World Economic Forum, okay? We're good. There are plenty of resources here. We'll do international trade, but you do not have any rights to what we have. Excuse me. And we don't have any rights to what you have. But we don't care because we don't want anything that you have besides maybe coffee or whatever. Little desserts and little foods, certain foods and ingredients. Everything else we're good.
Rate that was projected by the IMF just last April. And with my growth and tariff policies, it should be much higher. I really believe we can be much higher than that. And this is all great news, and it's great for all nations. The USA is the economic engine on the planet. And when America booms, the entire world booms. It's been the history. When it goes bad, it goes bad. You all follow us down and you follow us up. And we're at a point that I don't believe we've ever been. I never thought we could do it this quickly. My biggest surprise is I thought it would take more than a year, maybe like a year and 1 month. But it's happened very quickly. This afternoon, I want to discuss how we have achieved this economic miracle, how we intend to raise living standards for our citizens to levels never seen before, and perhaps how you too and the places where you come from can do much better by following what we're doing, because certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly.
Kick out losers. Kick out losers. That's what you need to do. If you are not going to contribute to the country, get GTFO. And that goes for everybody. The whole purpose of like paying your taxes and paying on this was that your taxes that you paid for years ago also happened to be part of your 401k, and you can retire doing a basic blue collar job. Now you can't do that anymore. And that is when we were on the gold standard. Things have been going on since paper has been going on. And you know what? This is what he's trying to imply. This is what he's implying. No. Keep your freaking paper. We're going to be going by coin. Okay? Because that stuff never loses value.
Anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument. Friends come back from different places. I don't want to insult anybody and say I don't recognize it. And that's not in a positive way. That's in a very negative way. And I love Europe, and I want to see Europe go good, but it's not heading in the right direction.
Yes, they need to get rid of this radical leftist socialist concept, which was basically founded by a bum. All right, let's call it for what it is. Karl Marx was a bum. He was a lazy loser who didn't want to work, who was envious of the working class, and was, why can't I have this? F you. And that's all these socialists and communists, all these movements, it's just a bunch of losers. It's like, dude, it's like, if you want to make it, you can, but we cannot be beholden to countries who put losers above people who want to become winners. Because there are some people who just want to be victims their entire life. They get a high from it. And there are other people who want to be victors. You should not be punished for wanting to be a victor. And if you are, if you actually think so, then I'm sorry, you're a lazy bastard loser.
Decades.
I wanted to say the F word, but no.
Became
I have self-control.
Conventional wisdom in Washington and European capitals that the only way to grow a modern Western economy was through ever-increasing government spending, unchecked mass migration, and endless foreign imports. The consensus was that so-called dirty jobs and heavy industry should be sent elsewhere, that affordable energy should be replaced by the Green New Scam, and that countries could be propped up by importing new and entirely different populations.
green news scam. That's exactly what it is.
Nations from faraway lands. This was the path that Sleepy Joe Biden administration and many other Western governments very foolishly followed, turning their backs on.
This is what people voted for. I love it. I love it. Oh man, he's throwing so much. I wouldn't say throwing shade, but he's taking his shots, man. He's firing his shots.
Everything that makes nations rich and powerful and strong. And there's so much potential in so many nations. The result was record budget and trade deficits and a growing sovereign deficit driven by the largest wave of mass migration in human history. We've never seen anything like it. Quite frankly, many parts of our world are being destroyed before our very eyes, and the leaders don't even understand what's happening. And the ones that do understand aren't doing anything about it. Virtually all of the so-called experts predicted my plans to end this failed model would trigger a global recession and runaway inflation. But we have proven them wrong. It's actually just the opposite. In 1 year, our agenda has produced a transformation like America has not seen in over 100 years. Instead of closing down energy plants, we're opening them up. Instead of building ineffective, money-losing windmills.
Now, even though this is true, to see this get into effect, it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay, so this is and there's going to be a huge tug of war because this is an implication of him wanting to go back to the gold standard,
taking them
and not being beholden to the dollar, because right now the dollar is essentially useless. It's becoming it's like just as much as it's starting to become it's starting to catch up to the value of the peso at this rate.
Down and not approving any. Instead of empowering bureaucrats, we're firing them, and they're going out and getting jobs in the private sector for 2 and 3 times what they were making in government. So they started off hating me when we fired them, and now they love me. Instead of raising taxes on domestic producers, we're lowering them and raising tariffs on foreign nations to pay for the damage that they've caused. In 12 months, we have removed over 270,000 bureaucrats from the federal payrolls, the largest single-year reduction in government employment since the end of World War II.
Wow, that kind of sounds like a Zionist deep state move, doesn't it? Absolutely not. This is what these truthers and these other people, these covert leftoids, are not going to say. They're not trying to push the truth on you. They're trying to push the agenda. We here on Cosmic Solace care about the truth and what's going on. And the truth is that he's basically, I can't say this enough, that he's telling Europe and all these white countries, yes, white, I am bringing race in this, to essentially to go F themselves. He's pulling the Elon Musk, but just more classy.
Nobody thought that was coming, but we had no choice. To make a country great, you can't have all federal jobs. We've cut federal spending by $100 billion and slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in the single year. It's going to go down quite a bit more from that, driving inflation way down from the record highs of the Biden administration. Every month they went up and up and up.
Not if you're in California, though.
Up. I promised to cut 10 old regulations for every single new regulation, but instead I've cut actually till this point 129 regulations for every one new regulation approved. So every time they come in with a new regulation, we do at least 10, but so far it's averaging out to 129, if you can believe it. In July, we passed the largest tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. We also
And me too. I got a raise because of the tax on Social Security. First of all, tax on Social Security. Social Security is based on from taxes. How do you tax Social Security? God, these people who champion these the Democrats, I swear to God, don't know how money works. And the crown needs you to be stupid about how money works, so that way you can forever be a Slav. I'll say a Slave. That's what they want, a Slave.
also provided 100% expensing. That's the one they like. And bonus depreciation for all new equipment and capital investments to help companies expand and shift production to America. They are so in love with that. They build a plant, they're able to deduct it immediately, the whole thing, rather than waiting.
All right. Let's
38.
Let's fast forward a little bit. What else?
Big fan because I didn't like the risk, the danger, but they have the progress they've made with nuclear is unbelievable, and the safety progress they've made is incredible. We're very much into the world of nuclear energy, and we can have it now at good prices and very, very safe. And we're leading the world in AI by a lot. We're leading China by a lot. I think President Xi respects what we've done, in part because I've allowed these big companies building these massive buildings to build.
That's what I'm really iffy about, the AI stuff, because then that's what's gonna get a lot of people out of work. So it enables job growth, sure, but then AI has also been used to take away jobs. So I don't know. I'm kind of weary on that.
Their own electric capacity. They're building their own power plant.
Let me know what you say in the comment sections. Is AI good for us? I think it's good for certain things. I used AI to create a workout program, which I've been following since late November, late December, something like that. I think late November. Yeah.
Which, when added up, is more than any country anywhere in the world is doing. I read recently an article in the Wall Street Journal that China's creating so much energy, and they are. You got to hand it to them. But we're creating as much or more, and we're letting them do that. I'm very proud of it. It was my idea. I said, you can't create this much energy. We needed more than double the energy currently in the country just to take care of the AI plants. And I said, we can't do that. We have an old grid system. And I came up with the idea, you people are brilliant. You have a lot of money. Let's see what you can do. You can build your own electric generating plants. And they looked at me. They didn't believe me. All of the names that are, I think, in the room right now, if you want to know the truth, they didn't believe it. And I said, no, you can't. They came back 2 weeks and they didn't have the plant. They said, we thought you were kidding. I said, no, not only am I not kidding, you're going to have your approvals within 2 weeks.
He knows how a lot of things are. He's a businessman, man. He knows a lot. And a lot of people think that he's a dumb politician. This dude knows what he's talking about.
I always say nuclear will take 3 weeks, but most aren't going that. They're going oil and gas. They're even going coal in some cases. Because of my landslide election victory, the United States avoided the catastrophic energy collapse which befell every European nation that pursued the Green New Scam, perhaps the greatest hoax in history. The Green New
That is, you have to understand that was one of the biggest. All of these programs that the current left do, the Democrats do, again, are on the behalf of the crown, and they're predominantly money laundering schemes. They don't care about your health. They care about their pockets. And there are a lot of metro commies and pseudo commies and democratic socialists who freaking say, well, it's the government's responsibility. They need to do that. If we had socialized, you're not getting that shit. You're not getting it. Okay? You're not ever going to get any of that wealth distribution from these crazy politicians who just basically use you as a cash cow. They spend their money elsewhere, and then they cry for more. Look what has been going on in I'll say it, Ukraine. This administration pulled out from that first thing and say, F you, we're not giving you any more money.
Scam, windmills all over the place, destroy your land. Every time that goes around, you lose $1,000. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money.
Yep.
Here in Europe,
where's the lie? That's a huge quote. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose it.
Seen the fate that the radical left tried to impose on America. They tried very hard. Germany now generates 22% less electricity than it did in 2017. And it's not the current chancellor's fault. He's solving the problem. He's going to do a great job. But what they did before he got there, I guess that's why he got there. And electricity prices are 64% higher. The United Kingdom produces just 1/3 of the total energy from all sources that it did in 1999. Think of that, 1/3. And they're sitting on top of the North Sea, one of the greatest reserves anywhere in the world, but they don't use it. And that's one reason why their energy has reached catastrophically low levels with equally high prices. High prices, very low levels. Think of that, 1/3. And you're sitting on top of the North Sea, and they like.
And you jerk offs want to say America was never great or whatever. All the while you want, and capitalism is evil and all this other stuff. Yet you want capitalist evil money. Sure. Get out of here.
To say, well, that's depleted. It's not depleted. It's got 500 years. They haven't even found the oil. The North Sea is incredible. They don't let anybody drill. Environmentally, they don't let them drill. They make it impossible for the oil companies to go. They take 92%.
They're essentially enslaving their own citizens, and that's by design. They want unlimited funds through taxes, so that way they can do whatever the heck they want, keep you enslaved, so that way you cannot fight back and be sovereign. You work for the government, and the government doesn't work for you. That's exactly what a democracy is, but a constitutional republic, the government works for you and not the other way around.
Of the revenues. So the oil companies said, we can't do it. They came to see me. Is there anything you can do? I want Europe to do great. I want UK to do great.
The crown doesn't, though. I'll give you that. The crown will not permit sovereignty. If it can't let its own, own former citizens, which the U.S. was. It was a bunch of British people who said, F this, you're taxing us up the rear. Get the heck out of here. No, we're out. We're done. And 47 here, he's basically telling all the EU what it is. He's basically saying, I said this earlier. I hate repeating myself over and over, but do you know what? We're better off without you. You do nothing. We are sovereign. Go screw yourselves. We don't want you. We don't want to do. We'll do some business with you, but we're not going to be beholden to you, because that's what you've been. That's under the Biden administration. That's what, and even the Obama administration, that's who took control, was the EU. If we're on the Paris Accords, Europe has us by the nuts, and that's exactly what he's saying. And he's saying, no, you don't.
Sitting on one of the greatest energy sources in the world, and they don't use it. In fact, their electricity prices have soared 130.
And do you know what's crazy? He's basically throwing out how I love how these people who say, oh, well, it's the government's responsibility and socialism, this, that, the third. And 47 is saying to everybody how their own governments scam their own citizens. The government scams their own citizens. And he's saying that's what you're freaking doing to your own people. No, we're not going to be doing. No, we're not doing that here.
39%. There are windmills all over Europe. There are windmills all over the place.
Why aren't you using them, Europe?
And they are losers. One thing I've noticed is that the more windmills a country has, the more money that country loses and the worse that country is doing. China makes almost all of the windmills. And yet I haven't been able to find any wind farms in China. Did you ever think of that? It's a good way of looking at it. They're smart. China's very smart. They make them, they sell them for a fortune. They sell them to the stupid people that buy them, but they don't use them themselves. They put up a couple of big wind farms, but they don't use them. They just put them up to show people what they could look like. They don't spin. They don't do anything. They use a thing called coal mostly. But China goes with the coal. They go with oil and gas. They're starting to look at nuclear a little bit, and they're doing just fine. They make a fortune selling the windmills, though, and I think really that's one that they wouldn't be surprised if it stopped. They are shocked that it continues to go. They're very
because they know that a lot of Europeans are gullible idiots. They are, and if you try, it's like, come on. I know you're from if you're from Europe and you are watching this, I'm not saying all Europeans are gullible idiots, but there are quite a few, okay, who think that they're doing this a service and being advanced in tech in certain things, but then it's like, well, you have to understand that sure, it might have clean energy to a degree, but the return on the investment is not always prosperous.
very friendly with me. They're shocked that people continue to buy those damn things. They killed the birds. They ruin your landscapes. Other than that, I think they're fabulous, by the way. Stupid people buy them. The consequences of such destructive policies have been stark, including lower economic growth, lower standards of living, lower birth rates, more social.
Yes, the birth rates. No one can afford families.
Disruptive migration, more vulnerability to hostile foreign adversaries, and much, much smaller militaries. The United States cares greatly about the people of Europe. We really do. I mean, look, I am.
We, to a degree, that's true. But do you know what? We're gonna pause that right there. We're gonna just like have a 1 hour show, and thank you all for watching, everyone. We'll continue we'll continue this Monday, possibly. I'll think about it.